Hello, Fear Hippie here is here, and today we are going to see what appears on my YouTube recommendations. So we're going to be watching a tier list by Major Gaming. I haven't really watched any of his videos yet. He seems to have only 3 less subscribers than me, so not very many yet, but who knows, we're up and coming. Um, I'm probably gonna skip through a lot of it because it is an hour and 20 minutes. I will go back and look at the things I disagree with, the things I do agree with, probably not so much. Um, and yeah, let's get into it.
Right, everybody, welcome back to Major Gaming, and today I just want to do a Dead by Daylight killer tier list. I don't think I've done one of these yet. Maybe I did a while ago, but I don't remember. But yeah, a lot of killers have come out um, over the years, and I want to rank them. And I want to do this differently than a lot of other content creators do tier lists because honestly, like, I think tier lists really should just be for fun. Not necessarily. I feel like the Dead by Daylight community, especially, takes the tier list placements really seriously. And for a game that's very based on RNG, the randomness of what killer you're going against every match, what perks are going to be in play, the map. Like, these tier lists are just a guideline. They can't be taken that seriously, guys. They really can't. And this one is.
See, I kind of would disagree with that. I feel like even though a game has RNG, much like Pokemon has a ton of RNG elements to it. Um, but they do have tier lists for it that are very, very rigid, and they're rigid that way because there's a way how to balance it, in a way where things kind of make sense, you know. They do a lot by usage rate in Pokemon, but just because the game has RNG, I think that doesn't disqualify it from having like a serious tier list.
Me trying my best to create a tier list that isn't so strict, I guess. I don't know if strict is the word. More like less definite about what's happening because this game is not a very consistent game. It's just not in terms of like what you get every match. It's not like a Marvel Rivals where pretty much for the most part you know what you're getting, and then you can also switch your character to match it. You can, once you're locked in, you're locked in. So in this game, so that's kind of where I'm going with this. So I'm not doing A, B, C, D, F tier. I'm not doing that. These tiers are a little more specific as to what they entail. Um, and that's to make it more clear what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't like the whole A B C S tier thing because at the end of the day, that means something different to everyone else. I watched Tofu, Otz, Scott, whatever. They're all making tier
True, true.
lists. They're S tier, they're A tier. Like they'll have A plus, A minus, at B, B plus, all that. It's like their tiers all mean something different. So how are you, like, what is
Yeah,
S
I get
tier?
that. How do
What
you define
is
a
A
tier
tier? You
list?
know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a definition for these things for it to be taken so seriously by the community, I think.
For me, I think the
Because
best
there's
way
no clear
to
cut definition as to what
have a good
these tiers
definition
mean.
would be like
You
A
know,
tier
and then
is
you kind of get
perfect.
lost in the fact that, oh,
S
this
tier,
is
it needs
only
to be
S
nerfed.
tier. That means she's broken and the best thing ever. When no, she does have some downsides. She's still strong. She's still the strongest, debatably, but like she does have downsides. You can play around her, especially in that. And that's
Nah,
another thing is
nah,
like
not
a
good
lot of
nurse.
tier lists. They like Tofu's tier list for whatever reason he kept referencing comp DBD, and I'm gonna tell you right now, comp DBD has no bearing on this tier list, on my tier list, because comp DBD plays a completely different game. Why am I considering what happens in comp DBD when they ban perks, they pick certain maps, they ban killers or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
they do certain things to fundamentally change the game. You're not playing Dead by Daylight. You are playing Comp
I
Dead by
agree.
Daylight.
It's like
Two
playing
different things.
1v1, a
So
completely
no,
different
I
game.
don't care what Comp does with these killers. I don't care what a Comp survivor can do. That's not the game I play. I don't play Comp DBD. Most 99% of the player base does not play Comp DBD. So
Y'all
why the
missing out. Y'all
fuck
missing
am
out.
I
It's fun.
making
It's so much fun.
a tier list for the average player and then referencing Comp DBD? It makes no sense. There's no logic behind that. They play a different game. Like they play a completely different game. There's no reason to be referencing Comp DBD, and I will not be doing that. You know, to each their own with their own tier list, but that makes absolutely no sense to me. And it honestly, it makes, in my mind, the tier list becomes less valid once you start bringing comp into it because they're not playing DBD, they're playing comp DBD, two different things. But
I feel like
all
you
right,
need to count for all
so
levels.
this is an average player tier list. We're gonna start out with S tier, which is almost no downsides. Every killer in this game has downsides. Anyone who says differently is just wrong. Every killer has some little things that makes that can add to the struggle a little bit. Almost no downsides just means that those downsides are so minuscule with certain killers that it almost doesn't matter, but they're still there. Because there's no killer in this game that's completely, broken to the point of having no counterplay, no downsides at all. So that's almost no downsides. Pretty obvious. Some
Yeah.
downsides, which is A tier. Some downsides means that actually I should change it to some
Okay, here's where I'm gonna start fast
significant.
forwarding it just a little bit because of time restrictions. Um, so let's go forward in the future a little bit, see what he changes it to. Some significant downsides. Yeah, I thought he had
Or from
laid out pretty
what
good.
killers are like it, and then you can damage.
Let's see.
All right, Huntress. Huntress.
Okay, let's see where he has people.
Huntress has been in the game a while. I'm sure a lot of you know. She's barely
I
in
would
the
agree
game,
with
which
Billing and
isn't
Blight.
necessarily good. She is very map
RS.
dependent, even still, but
Mm.
her map dependency was worse before. But now that she has more hatchets, she's a lot better off. She's just a very solid killer. Like she's one of the best made killers in the game, one of the most fun.
Huh.
And you could get a lot of
Honestly, I would
kills
agree with a lot of his lists so far. A lot of his lists is pretty good.
So I usually just get like two or three of them, and then end it, and then M1
Like
just
for
because
him to
it's so
be
fun.
making a list this accurate, I feel like he has to have some type of experience with
All
DVD.
right, so now Freddy, the newest reworked killer.
The only one I would see that I would disagree with is having Huntress. My brain will always thinking like numbers, so like A tier, B tier, C tier, and now I think like the top 10, top 20, top 30, that type stuff. Only thing I see if, hmm, well, actually, I take that back. I would put like Huntress in B, because Huntress is what's the word for it? Even though she's gotten more hatchets, she's still quite mat dependent. Survivors are learning how to loop against her much, much better. And I feel like there's a lot more perks now I counter her. It's it's almost like she's been having a power creep go up against her. There's been a lot more filler palettes being used, and she feels a lot weaker at most filler, tall filler palettes than a lot of other killers. Um, so there's that. Dracula, I would put him probably where Aris is right now because Dracula just has so much in his kit. Um, Honestly, I may put him where Billy is and then move Aris, Billy down into where Aris and then just had Dracula right atop the Blight. Just because he has so much in his kit. Given, I will say Dracula probably has the hardest skill floor to master in the entire game. I found him much harder to master than I did Blight, Nurse, other killers that involve rotation powers like the Knight. I found Dracula very hard to master.
I'm going to put him right here. His rupture is fun. His new teleporting where you could teleport and like at survivors and at gens. And if you my build for Freddy is pain res, pop, nowhere to hide, and not unforeseen. Barbecue and chili. Run that build. I promise you, you will do so well with him because he could teleport straight to gens and just kick them, and he like it. It's great, and then the pallets and the snares, and like everything. That's sort of like anti loop. Not Arnrio is going to
I
go
will have to comment on Maria because I play her a lot.
Uh, and again, might be kind of controversial, but I don't think she's that bad. Like, I don't. Like, you could play a lot of mind games with the demanifest, especially now that
It's been bugged
Freddy's
out for a while,
has
although I think they
now
just
you can
fixed it.
demanifest and go into a pallet, and they'll drop the pallet, and you instantly break it. It's great. That's sort of like anti-loop, not really, but kinda. Her map mobility is great. The distraction with the TVs that the survivors don't know what they're doing. Like they don't turn off the TVs. Well,
It's
then
good for low MMR survivors, but
you have your power, but then
I would put her
you
much,
also
much lower.
um can lock them into having these stacks, and that scares survivors. Yeah, against better survivors, she kind of struggles, but she's not like horrible. Like you just
She
gotta
struggles a lot up against bear survivors.
and everything, and then nowhere to hide and stuff, and it works for me. I don't know. I find Onryo pretty decent. You can and can't have. But once you get your power,
Don't blame him for having pig glow.
the only other thing is like certain loops kind of shut down your power, and if you get stunned, you don't have your corrupt purge anymore. So that kind of sucks.
Although I would say pig would have to be higher than
Keeping
Ghostface.
survivors injured all game is strong, and the problem is if she's doing that and she doesn't have her corrupt purge, she's just an M1. Remove the haste. Like that's all they had to do was just remove the haste and keep everything else the same. Skull Merchant would have been fine.
A very, very good opinion, valid opinion.
Like what the heck? Then put down trap. How is that less simple? If you want it better for new players, give them all his traps. That way they gotta do is put down trap. Walk, put down trap. Why they don't have to find it?
I
How is
agree.
that less simple?
It's kind of
It's
crazy.
so
Trapper
simple.
still has to pick up his traps.
The only thing that sucks is having to go find the survivor on the other side of the map when you gotta go pick them up. That kind of sucks, but you can mitigate that.
Talking about
Freddy
twins, I
is
guess.
just really good, and you shouldn't map dependency. There is a little, but he is
He
still a
understands tier list.
M1 killer. It's just, but he has so much map ability that it makes up for it. I think in a roll the dice type of way. And then Xenomorph, is gonna go right here above Huntress. I know people like to put Xenomorph more in here, but I still think hitting over pallets and hitting over loops is a very strong ability. Survivors don't always use the turrets well. Yeah,
Yeah.
when they do, it's very annoying, but there's counterplay because it's harder to do.
I put Xeno just a little lower. I was putting him maybe bomb A, but he's still pretty good.
Counterplay is worse because it's harder, so makes sense, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna end this here. This is my tier list. Yeah, if you have any thoughts, let me know down in the comments below. I'm sorry I started rushing near the end, but my laptop's about to die. So I am going to say bye. I will explain further in the comments if necessary for certain kills. Our own tier list, but that makes absolutely no
Yeah.
sense to
Okay.
me.
Um. Okay, let's see which ones I actually disagree with. His tier list is pretty well accurate. I feel like the Campbell gets a bad rep. I feel like Campbell needs to be higher. But I can see why people put him down there. I feel like Campbell would be like B tier. He has the best camping potential in the game if you know when to camp properly, and that is extremely strong. Honestly, I want to play more Campbell since his buffs. He's just such a fun killer to play as. Um, I remember I will have to go look back at the Huntress and the Dark Lord because I think they're probably the ones that stand out to me as the most of I would kind of disagree with. The Hag has been kind of like power crept over here, and Legion has just been having a rough go of it as of late. Um, I feel like his Legion's power, I feel like it deserves like another type of rework or something. Um, I almost feel like as more like the higher his combos get, I feel like um he should be able to damage a percentage of the gen more. So like if he gets one frenzy, he should be able to do extra 2% damage to a gen. If he gets two frenzies, extra 4%. Three would be bits, and then four would be like 8%. Depending on his frenzies. But if he gets like the fifth hit, he can't use his frenzy again. Um, so that's the only thing I really would change about Legion. Um, yeah, let's go back to Dark Lord.
I am. So, and she's way underrated. The idea chainsaw, like stealth on for all chainsaw. Um, yeah, so that's another thing. So but you can do. But yeah, is going in some significant downsides. Mainly the downsides are just the fact that his Hellfire is a weaker Pyramid Head attack. So
Yeah,
like some loops you can't use it on. Which is,
yeah.
fine
It's still
for
pretty strong though.
others, but his Hellfire gets shut down by certain loops. Um, is kind of slow. And then his bat form is really good for map traversal, but you can't see the survivors or hit the survivors while in bat form.
Yeah, but you can come
It's
out of it
very
quickly to
I
hit.
feel like Dracula is really good, but I feel like people overrate him because survivors don't. I never see Draculas for one. I don't know many. I haven't gone against many Draculas, especially not recently. But like if you see the bats, run away from the bats. Walk away from the bats so they don't see your scratch marks. Because if you're getting caught off guard by the bats, you're not paying attention. Because
But
if
he
you
can
see
hear your
bats,
footsteps and
survivors,
breathing,
oh,
even if
there's
you
a
walk in a
teammate
good game sense. You can kind
and
of
close
pinpoint.
by that you can see on your character when they get close to you. Like it's like you should not be getting caught off guard by the bats. It just shouldn't happen. At least not in most situations. Like that's pretty crazy. Uh, the wolf form is all right, but it's essentially a weaker Wesker. But the haste bubbles are great. The haste is great. It helps.
Yeah.
It really does help. That is good. I feel like wolf form is underrated. His wolf form is actually pretty good. The fact that he can break pallets with the
I would
lunges
agree.
and
Full
everything,
Fun is pretty dang
he has
good.
a lot going for him there. The issue is with wolf form and Dracula form, if you can't get your Hellfire off, if you can't get a lunge off, you are an M1 killer, which is pretty much the downside to Dracula. Is if you're at an area where those things are not going to work out for you, you're
Hmm.
gonna struggle, and then you are an M1 killer. Now, wolf form is a little bit better because wolf form is smaller and you get the haste, so
Yeah.
it's a better version of an M1
You
killer.
can
But
use the save the best for last while you're in wolf form, which helps out a lot.
Hellfire off, you're an M1
Hmm.
killer. Like and then bat form, like it's just for map traversal. You can't really do a whole lot with that. You can catch up with you can make the distance. You can catch up, but at the end of the day,
It kind of
you're
making
still
me want to
losing.
play Dracula. Not gonna lie.
I've gone against survivors that made my Dracula pretty much useless because they looped me around a loop on Toba Landing. Oh my god, that was horrible. They like I couldn't hit them because the Hellfire wouldn't go through. Like it was a high
Yeah, a lot
ground,
of people
so
use
my
the
Hellfire was
Hellfire
useless.
too much
And then
versus using
anytime I would switch to Wolf form to catch
Wolf.
up to them, they just vaulted this window, this other window. There was like a window, an L window, and then another window right there. I'm like, what is
A
this?
T and
There's
L
three
wall?
windows here. Like
I think he's talking about a T and L wall, if I had to
my
guess.
Hellfire wasn't working. I
I
couldn't
don't really
catch up
see
to the
those
log.
too often on Toba.
I couldn't lunge around the walls. That was a really bad game as Dracula for me. That one sucked. But he doesn't have a lot of downsides. It's just that certain loops.
Okay. Now let's get a Huntress. Where is she?
Doctor with Unforeseen and
Right here.
found Shack. Been changed. The buffs she got were necessary. She is map dependent even still, but her map dependency was worse before. But now that she has more hatchets, she's a lot better off. Um, she's just a very solid killer. Like she's one of the best made killers in the game, one of the most fun. And you could get a lot of crazy hits, but there's still counterplay. And yeah, I think she benefits a lot from aura reading. So if you don't bring aura reading, that's kind of a downside. But um, yeah, like she's just overall like you have to. And another thing is you got to put in the work to learn her to do really well. But once you do, she's really good. So hitting you got to hit your shots. Same thing with Deathslinger, but the difference between Huntress and Deathslinger is Huntress can shoot her hatchets more consistently.
Yeah,
Like
rapid
she has
fire.
to reload after every shot. Huntress doesn't. She has a couple shots to get you and get you down, and so you don't have to break chase pretty
Yeah,
much after every
it's
shot.
interesting
Huntress
seeing his
doesn't.
thoughts on Huntress.
But she is still a 110 killer, and if you have no
Yeah, that
hatchets,
holds her
she's a
back,
110 M1 killer,
especially on
and
larger
you're not
maps.
gonna find a locker to reload at. So
And you
those are
gotta
the
do the
downsides.
errand of reloading.
Knight, roll
Okay,
damage.
interesting. I was mainly just wondering what his opinions on those two killers were. Overall though, I would say I agree with his tier list for the most part. He has some good points. He seems to know how most tier lists work, where they place people, and they're kind of all in accordance. So yeah, I do like his tier list for the most part. I give it probably an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Um, I hope everybody has a great and wonderful day. Sure to give this guy a like and follow. His name is Major Gaming. I'll give him a like right now. And I hope everybody has a great day. See you around. Bye bye.